Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Om Sri Mahaganapataye Namaha Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Asmad Gurubhyo Namaha श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः ओम श्री मेधा दक्षिणामूर्ति स्वामिने नमः। ओम सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम। Namaste everyone. Wish you all a very happy Tamil New Year and also happy Vishu.
Thank you,
You can
Guruji.
see from the attendance that everybody is busy in their Vishu celebrations. I actually
Happy Vishu, Guruji. Happy Vishu.
happy Vishu. Insisting on this attendance, I think I will have to give up because whenever I become a little strict, for some time there is effect, then it wears off. Anyhow, we will continue for those who are interested in learning this Vedanta. So, etavupadi parijivayostayoho samyak nirasena paro na jivah rajyam narendrasya bhatasya khetakah tayorapohe na bhatho na raja. So we are tracing the journey from dasoham to soham, from duality or plurality to non-duality, in the process of analyzing how we need to understand the Mahavakyam like Tattvamasi. Because Upanishad after Upanishad proclaims the oneness of Jiva, the created individual, and Ishvara, the creator God. Veda equates Jiva and Ishvara. Obviously, such a statement invites a lot of criticism, especially from other theological systems, which can never imagine oneness given the huge contradictions in the attributes, the respective attributes of Jiva and Ishvara. But having said that, the statement of equation being given by the Upanishads also cannot be ignored. Upanishads are words of Bhagavan. And therefore, the Advaitin says, we have to find out its proper meaning. What do the Upanishads exactly mean when they say Tattvamasi or Aham Brahmasmi, etc.? It is Jiva Ishvara Aikyam only. But we should ask how to understand this equation without contradiction. And therefore, you interpret it in such a way that this equation can be understood without contradiction. And that is exactly what we are analyzing. So in the last few verses, up to verse number 77 in our list, which we completed in the last class, Shankaracharya says, Ishvara has got all superior attributes like omniscient, omnipotent, etc. Not as his essential nature, but it is only because of the Maya medium or Maya costume that he possesses these attributes. So all the superior attributes are because of Maya. And similarly, Jiva has also got all the inferior attributes like limitedness, alpagnaha, alpashaktiman, etc. Not because it is the intrinsic nature of Jiva. All these inferior attributes are because of Jiva's costume, the Sharira Trayam or Panchakosha, etc. So, whenever we see the contradictions between Jiva and Ishvara, the contradiction is not in the intrinsic nature of the Jiva or Ishvara, but the costume or the medium which these Jiva and Ishvara are wearing, that medium causes all the contradictions. Therefore, if we remove these costumes, derobe both Ishvara and Ishvara, intellectually, the essence of Jiva and the essence of Ishvara can be understood. So those contradicting factors we have to intellectually set aside and then understand that the essence of Jiva and the essence of Ishvara is one and the same. When Maya is set aside, Ishvara is none other than Brahma Chaitanya, which is free from all sorts of superior attributes. It is Nirguna Chaitanyam only. It is no longer the creator God. It is pure consciousness. Similarly, Jiva also appears inferior because of its costume. If you set aside the costume and look at Jiva's essential nature, Jiva is the Atma without any inferior attributes, or for that matter, without any attribute, inferior or superior, no attributes. And Jiva is also essentially Atma Chaitanyam, which is also Nirgunam. Therefore, if you understand the special meaning, not the primary meaning or common meaning or the popular meaning, then the word Tat in Tattvamasi will refer to the Nirguna Brahma Chaitanyam. The word Tvam will refer to the Nirguna Atma Chaitanyam. Nirguna Atma means consciousness obtaining in and enclosed in the body. Nirgunam Brahman means the all-pervading consciousness which is experienced as existence everywhere. And once you take Atma and Brahman, Nirguna Atma, Nirguna Brahman, the Atma Chaitanyam and Brahma Chaitanyam, the equation will make sense by conveying that both are nothing but one consciousness. And here we have to note one very important aspect, but that is also a subject matter of confusion amongst many people. There is no gradation in consciousness, which is non-dual, indivisible, and partless. One consciousness alone is behind Ishvara and Jiva. It is not a different consciousness Jiva has got, probably an inferior consciousness, and Ishvara has got a superior consciousness. No, there is only one consciousness, and there is no inferiority, superiority, etc. in that consciousness. Like there is only one water behind the wave and ocean. If you keep your focus on the water, if you keep the water in your mind, you can assimilate and accept the equation wave is equal to ocean. Only if you consider water being the content of both wave and ocean. Similarly, Jiva is Ishvara if you keep the Chaitanyam, the essential nature in mind. And that is how we have to understand by taking the special meaning. Lakshyartha, not the Vachyartha of Chaitanyam. Wherein there is na paro na jiva, as he said. When you remove the costumes, there is neither Paramatma, neither Ishvara, nor Jiva. So Jiva and Ishvara have got their differences only at the empirical level, which is mithya, which is not absolute reality. Whereas Chaitanyam is not empirical. Chaitanyam is absolute. And that's why, in the Shastra, as I said earlier also, the reality is actually considered at three levels. Pratibhasika level, subjective reality. For the best example for that is the dream. In the dream, subjective reality, pratibhasika level, superiority, inferiority are there. That is one level of reality. In reality, because in dream, a dreamer considers the dream to be real. In fact, that reality, subjective reality, even though, mind you, a dream is specific only to the dreamer. What you are dreaming, I cannot dream in my sleep. Your dream is specific to you only, and my dream is specific to me only. And when we are in the dream, as a dreamer, everything is real to us. So that is the pratibhasika, subjective reality. That reality is applicable only to the dreamer. And at the vyavaharika level, at the transactional level, at the empirical level in the waking state, there is superiority and inferiority. Isn't it? Some people are endowed with superior qualities. Some people are endowed with inferior qualities. But at the paramarthika level, absolute level, the transcendental level, there is no difference at all. Brihadaranyaka Upanishad says, Neha nanasti kinchana. There is neither plurality nor gradation. Therefore, Jiva, Jagat, Ishvara, which is the core subject matter of Vedanta, that triangle obtains only at the Vyavaharika level. There is no triangle at the Paramarthika level. At the Paramarthika level, at the absolute reality level, there is only one reality, which you may call Atma, which you may call Brahman also. Both words refer to the same non-dual reality. Therefore, when we study the Mahavakya, we have to revise the meaning and understand. We should not take the popular meaning, the Vachyartha. Take only the special meaning, the Lakshyartha. And the process by which we arrive at the special meaning, that is the Lakshyartha, that process is called Lakshana. Lakshana, not Lakshana, Lakshana. So, through the process of Lakshana, Lakshana Vritya or Lakshanaya, you have to arrive at the special meaning of Brahma Chaitanyam and Atma Chaitanyam for Tat and Tvam respectively. And this is what is going to be dealt with in the following, the verses which follow that. Because again, here Vedanta is not saying, or for that matter, Acharyas and all, they don't just say, okay, this is the Vachyartha, this is the Lakshyartha, you just don't take the Vachyartha, don't take the Lakshyartha, matter over. And it's a process, it's called Lakshana, for your information. No. Vedanta's teaching methodology is not like that at all. Because even when we are talking about the process of Lakshana, the Shastra deals with Lakshana in 3 different types. All that we will be seeing. All sound quite technical, but it is, if for those who are serious and interested, it's all information, it's all knowledge which we have never ever come across. Even though, mind you, all these processes in every day, in our conversations, in our transactions, we use. But we don't label them, we don't understand why all that is there, how it is there, we don't have any clue about it. So this may sound theoretical, but it is of immense practical use. So from now onwards, in the next few verses, the finer Shastric technical topics are going to be dealt with. I don't want to scare all of you. As I said earlier, in these discussions, which is the climax of Vedantic teaching, maximum application of intellect is required. You have to apply your mind, not listen to all these things like a story. I hope you are all prepared for the drill. This will be 2-3 classes more, and then of course things will become easy. We can relax a bit. It is just like, taking a flight. When there is turbulence, there will be some disturbance, some challenge. But then afterwards, after the turbulence is crossed, smooth flight will be there. So a few more finer Shastric technical topics are going to be mentioned. So as I said, by taking the Lakshyartha of the words Tat and Tvam, we have to arrive at the special meaning of Brahma Chaitanyam and Atma Chaitanyam, respectively. And this process, as I said, is called Lakshana. Now, this process of implication in the Shastra is divided into 3 types. There are 3 types of Lakshana which Shastra mentions. So now the question is, in order to arrive at the special meaning for Tat and Tvam, which type of Lakshana we have to use? Question is, which Lakshana we have to employ here? And Adi Shankara is also going to explain that. If you have not been exposed to Vedanta earlier or any text relating to Vedanta, if you are a pure beginner, all this may look too much. Some of you may even be thinking from next class, I will not come. Please do not do that. Little bit more patience, little bit more intellectual application. And as you do it repeatedly, you will find that all these things actually are not very difficult. It is just like studying any subject, physics, chemistry, and all. They have also got their general, knowledge, general approach, and then there are some specific technical things are also involved in that. Vedanta is no different. But the knowledge of these technical aspects, or what I can call the special aspects, they are very useful for you to understand fully and not just, swallow whatever the Acharya is saying. And therefore, it is very important to put in that little extra effort to understand, because this understanding is worth all the trouble. Why? It is the liberating knowledge. Because these will be followed by the topic of Jivan Mukti, which is very rare. I mean, everybody, like in an organization, only one person can become the CEO. Like that, in amongst millions of people, only one person or two people will become Jivan Muktas. Very rare honor. And if Bhagavan has chosen you for starting on that journey, all the troubles are worth it. So now we will discuss how the Lakshana, the process of arriving at the special meaning, must be employed. Technical analysis, it's all going to be. We will read the verse number 78. Tatastu tau lakshanaya sulakshyav tayorakandai sattva siddhaye nalam jahatya tata jahatya kintu bhayarthat atmikai eva bhavyam. Atmikaya eva bhavyam. Tatah tu tayoho अखंड एक रसत्व सिद्धये तौ लक्षणया सुलक्ष्यौ जहत्या न अलम तथा अजहत्या किंतु उभयार्थ आत्मिकया एव भाव्यम. ततः तु, therefore, tayoho, of these two, Jiva and Ishvara, अखंड एक रसत्व सिद्धये, for establishing the undivided oneness, tau, they, lakshanaya, through the process of implication, sulakshyau, should be pointed out, jahatya, by jahal lakshana, which means total rejection, na alam, it is not enough, Tatha, similarly, ajahatya, not by ajahal lakshana, total non-rejection, kintu, but ubhayartha atmikaya eva, by the process of combination of the two, bhavyam, should be considered. The word meaning, when you look at it, you will be more confused than what otherwise. But we will see them. We will actually go through every word and then explanation. We will see them. Then it will become very easy. So here, the sloka, he says, therefore, they, Jiva and Ishvara, should be indicated by a process of implication for establishing the undivided oneness of these two. It is not enough to indicate by Jahal Lakshana, which is total rejection. Similarly, not by Ajahal Lakshana, which is total non-rejection, but it should be considered by a process of combining the two. So the Lakshana of three types, we'll see them in detail. So when, as we discussed, when we take the Vachyartha of both Tat and Tvam, then the Upanishadic equation will create contradiction. Because of God is with superior attributes on the one side and Jiva with inferior attributes on the other side. That equation will be absurd. But because the equation comes from Upanishad, he says Tataha, therefore, in order to make the equation meaningful, we go put it through a process. We do Lakshanaya, the process of implication. And how is this done? As we saw, the cause of Ishvara's superior attribute is Maya. And the cause of Jiva's inferior attribute is Shariratrayam, the Anatma. So both of them mentally we set aside. And we arrive at the revised meaning. The purified or refined meaning you can call. In Sanskrit called Shodhita Arthaha. And what are the revised meaning we have arrived at already? Tat is Brahma Chaitanyam without Maya, Nirguna Brahma Chaitanyam. And Tvam is Atma Chaitanyam, Nirguna Atma Chaitanyam. That Nirguna Brahma Chaitanyam and Nirguna Atma Chaitanyam are called Tau here. These two types of Chaitanyams. Lakshanaya, by the process of implication, Sulakshyau. Sulakshyau means you have to take the Lakshyartha as the special meaning. So, Tau Bodha Rupau Jiva Ishwarau should be taken as Sulakshyau as the implied meaning or special meaning of the words Tat and Tvam. And once their special meanings are taken, what will happen? Tayoho Akhanda Rasasat Eka Rasatva Siddhaye. Akhanda, non-dual, Ekarasatva, oneness. You will be able to see the oneness. As I said, Akhanda means undivided, indivisible consciousness, which is Ekarasam, which does not have even substance attribute or any division. Ekarasam means attributeless. Because Atma and Brahman, or Atma and consciousness rather, they are not substance and attribute. Like Atma is the substance and consciousness is the attribute of Atma. No. Atma is consciousness. Consciousness is not an attribute. Consciousness is Atma without substance attribute. That we have to be very clear. Thus, one non-dual consciousness will be arrived at if you take special, revised, refined meaning. Otherwise, the Mahavakyam will appear contradictory. And that is why only in Advaita Vedanta, this Mahavakyam is showcased. According to we Advaitins, we say, what is the central teaching of Upanishads? Answer we say is Mahavakyam is the central teaching. Whereas both Visishta Advaitins and Dvaitins ignore that. They manage to interpret the Upanishad in one way or the other. They focus more, concentrate more only on those statements of the Upanishad where Jiva and Ishvara are differentiated. For example, there is a Upanishad sentence, Idam sarvam tat satyam sa atma tattvamasi. That is the Upanishad Vakya. Dvaita people interpret it as sa atma atatvamasi. Means we should not read it as tattvamasi, but we should read it as atatvamasi. Thus, and the beauty is the language allows for that. Sanskrit language allows for that. Thus, by using different methods, they do not interpret the Mahavakyam, they leave it aside. Anyhow, that is not our concern. We are Advaitins. From an Advaita point of view, we have to understand first before getting into how others interpret and whether their interpretation appeals more to our intellect or not. Therefore, tayoho akhanta ekarasattva siddhaye. Therefore, for arriving at the equality of Brahma Chaitanyam and Atma Chaitanyam, you have to come to their special meaning only. Now, let us briefly see what are the three types of Lakshana or implication. We must remember one basic factor, basic aspect. We will employ this process of Lakshana only when the primary meaning doesn't fit in. Whenever we are interpreting anything, first of all, we must interpret it by applying the common popular meaning only. Ishvara means God. Jiva means Jiva. In common usage, we should not go to other meanings. Like suppose you ask someone, how are you? In the normal context, when I ask, how are you? You should not apply Lakshyartha for you and talk about Atma and all those things. I am not asking in the Lakshyartha sense because you, the Atma, are ever wonderful. I know that. I will never ask you, how are you? When I ask, how are you, I am only referring to you as an individual with three bodies, Sharira Trayam or Panchakoshas. And therefore, you should have no hesitancy to answer, I am fine or I am not so well. You will never be misunderstood. You will not be told, oh, you are a Vedanta student and you are still identifying yourself with your body, that is Sharira Trayam, etc. Nobody will tell you that. Even Adi Shankaracharya, even he will not tell you that. Similarly, when you ask me, Acharya, how are you? In any other context, I am not going to say, I am Nirguna Brahma Chaitanyam Nitya Shuddha Buddha Mukta Atma and all that. I will never say. The moment I say that, you will probably put everything in your hand and run away from me. I will also say, I am fine. Or I have not been keeping so well lately, etc. That is the correct response. There you should not apply all Lakshyartha and all that and convey a totally different idea. Therefore, all this application of Lakshana and all is relevant only when the teacher is teaching, not at all times. So the process is first apply the primary meaning in any context. Only, and I repeat, only if it does not fit in, apply Lakshana. This must be very clear. And this Lakshana, as I said, is of three types. What are the three types? Jahati Lakshana, Ajahati Lakshana, and Ubhaya Lakshana. Ubhaya Lakshana is nothing but a combination of Jahati and Ajahati. So Ubhaya Lakshana can also be stated as Jahati Ajahati Lakshana. I will explain that with a simple example. Each one of them I will explain. First, we will take Jahati Lakshana. Suppose a few people have assembled in the house of one person. They are enjoying their company and drinking coffee. And while they are having coffee, a new member joins the group. And so, they ask, or the host who is there, he asks the new member, would you like to have a cup of coffee? He says, no, I already consumed 2 cups before coming here. Now, let us analyze this statement. I have consumed 2 cups. What is the primary meaning of the word cup? Cup is a container, either porcelain, paper, plastic, whatever it is, some container. That is the cup. So this person says, I have consumed 2 cups. Literally taken, it would mean that the person has consumed the containers also. Or rather, if he says, I have consumed 2 cups, it may mean that he has only consumed the 2 cups, not a coffee. But normally, no human being, he cannot consume, he can't swallow the cup. Then how does he say that I have already I have consumed 2 cups? So from the context, that the word cup here means the content of the cup, namely coffee. Because that is the context. Therefore, what he means is that I have already consumed 2 cups of coffee. Therefore, in this context, the word cup should be understood as coffee. Vachyartha is the container. Vachyartha of the word cup means a container. The Lakshyartha of the word cup is coffee, the content, which is a drink. I hope you are all following the logic in this analysis. See, these are all very common instances we come across. We just don't even apply our mind to what is being said. But there is no difficulty in our understanding. When the person says, I have already consumed 2 cups of coffee, 2 cups, we understand that what he means is he has consumed 2 cups of coffee only, not the 2 cups alone. In fact, he has not consumed the cup at all. He has consumed only coffee. That also we fully understand. So now, how did we arrive at the Lakshyartha? What happened to the Vachyartha, the primary meaning? So based on what happens to the primary meaning, while arriving at the special secondary meaning, the name Jahati Lakshana is given here. What are we doing? Just think about it. The primary meaning of the word cup is a container, a cup. That's the primary meaning. That meaning we are totally dropping, totally ignoring that meaning. So while arriving at the Lakshyartha, the primary meaning we are dropping altogether, because we know person doesn't consume the cup. And having dropped the primary meaning, you arrive at the content which is related to the primary meaning, because container is related to the content. Supporter and supported relationship. Therefore, you totally drop the primary meaning, take the relevant secondary meaning, which is connected with the primary meaning, but after dropping the primary meaning totally. That is what we do. This is a process our mind very quickly does. Like a, what you call high-speed computer, everything is analyzed here. In split second, you get a full understanding. After that, you move on. You don't even think. Why, when he only said cup, why did they interpret as coffee? We don't even think about it. So we take the secondary meaning coffee, which in this context is connected with the primary meaning cup. The primary meaning cup is totally dropped. So when he says I have consumed 2 cups, means I have consumed 2 cups of coffee. And this process is called Jahati Lakshana. Jahati means dropping. Dropping the primary meaning. So it is called Jahati. Ha dhatu, which means to drop. So the implication by which the primary meaning is dropped is called Jahati Lakshana. We understand the implied meaning without knowing what is Jahati Lakshana is. That is what happens practically. And this Jahati Lakshana we use many times, we will be reading the newspaper. Another example I'm giving you. There will be some report about some meeting. Okay. There it will be written, so and so meeting was there. There was a resolution. One of the members put forth a resolution, and the chair objected to the member. This will be the sentence. The chair objected to the member. We know that the chair cannot talk. So you drop the primary meaning of chair. You take the person or chairman as the meaning of the word chair. Thus, we commonly use Jahati Lakshana. Only thing is that while we do not know that that process we are using is called Jahati. That's all. So you should remember these 2 examples. I have consumed 2 cups and the chair objected to the member. Remember these examples to understand Jahati Lakshana. You can think of more examples. So many times, we on a day-to-day basis, in our conversation, we use all these expressions. So Jahati Lakshana means dropping the primary meaning completely. Now let us talk about Ajahati Lakshana. What are the examples? In Shastra, they have got their own beautiful example, which is what Adi Shankara quotes in the next shloka rather. But we will take a common example. Suppose this person who has come, taking the coffee example, this person who has come is asked, would you like a cup of coffee? And he says, I do not want coffee, I have already had. Can you get me some water? So the new entrant asks the host, can you get me some water? Now the host has to bring water. and water is liquid. If it is solid, he could have gone and brought it, If he had said, I would like to have a rasagulla or gulab jamun, he could have brought one rasagulla or gulab jamun. But water he cannot bring like that. Like, for example, you ask for a book can be brought, handed over, just the book and hand it over. Water cannot be done. So in order to bring water, you require what? A cup or a glass or a tumbler or container. But the guest has not mentioned the cup. He only said, get me some water. And the host understands that if I take the Vachyartha, the primary meaning only, I should bring water alone for him. But that is not possible. Even though he did not say that, I will understand it as water. Can you get me water along with the container, cup or glass or tumbler? He understands Lakshanaya by implication. So he takes a cup or any other container, pours water into that and brings the container, come water. So here, water, the Vachyartha, is there. But he does not bring that. He does not bring the water alone. He adds the container into the meaning of water. Whenever anybody says bring water, we must understand it as bring water in a container. We add container to that meaning. Because that way alone you can bring water. And that way alone the visitor can receive it and drink it also. Even when he wants to consume water, he requires the container. Therefore, in this context, what does the word water mean? Water means water plus container. Therefore, whereas in the Jahati Lakshana, we dropped the primary meaning and took the secondary meaning, here you have to add something to the Vachyartha. And the Vachyartha, water should not be dropped. You should not apply Jahati Lakshana here. If you apply Jahati Lakshana, what will happen? You will drop water and bring the cup only. What is the use? Therefore, instead of dropping something, you have to add something more, retaining the Vachyartha. And this Lakshana is not called adding Lakshana. It is called non-dropping Lakshana. Ajahati Lakshana. Where adding is understood. Primary meaning is not dropped. So non-dropping implication is Ajahati Lakshana. There, if you apply Jahati Lakshana, only cup will come, water will not come. Now suppose in the first example, if you use Ajahati Lakshana, what will happen? He said, I have consumed 2 cups. If you take Vachyartha also, there will be a problem. It will mean that he consumes cups also. If you take Jahati Lakshana, it will mean he consumed the coffee only. But if you take Ajahati Lakshana, it will include the Vachyartha cup also. Then it will mean he consumed both cup and coffee. So in the first example, Ajahati Lakshana will not work. Vachyartha will not work. In the second example, Vachyartha won't work, Jahati Lakshana won't work. Ajahati Lakshana, adding Lakshana alone will work. Without dropping the primary meaning, Vachyartha, adding another word to the understanding, that alone will work. So think about all these things, because in the class, we have only limited time to discuss certain one or two examples. Now, what you should do is ponder over these examples at home, and then try to find out more such examples from our day-to-day use. Then only you will get clarity, more clarity about these concepts. And these are all we need to understand, because when we say Mahavakyam interpretation by implication, question is why, first of all, we should do the Lakshyartha, because Vachyartha does not fit in. Okay. I mean, the common example I used to say in other classes, this person is a tiger in mathematics. The word tiger, we all know what it represents, a ferocious animal. Now, if we take the Vachyartha, that this fellow is a tiger, and you see this poor guy, always silent, very, very soft guy. Where is a tiger's roar and where is this fellow's voice? Vachyartha will not work. Equation, this fellow is a tiger, will not work. So there again, you have to take Jahati Lakshana, drop the primary meaning of the word tiger and go to the secondary meaning. That means what? Very strong, powerful in mathematics. He is a very accomplished guy in mathematics. That will be the result of the Lakshyartha by applying Jahati Lakshana. So like that, you have to keep on thinking more and more examples to very clearly understand that whenever we talk in our normal day-to-day conversations, analyze what somebody else has said, how you have understood it. And in fact, most of the times, many misunderstandings happen because of this only. I want to convey something thinking that you will understand, but you misunderstand. And then there is a fight. That is how the fight started, they say. Of course, if you don't ponder over also, you don't lose much, because in Mahavakyam, both of these are not going to work. Jahati Lakshana will not work, Ajahati Lakshana will not work. Neither is applicable. And that is what the teacher says here. Nalam Jahatya na tatha Jahatya. Both these explanations, Jahati and Ajahati, will not work in Mahavakyam. And therefore, you have to go in for a third Lakshana, which is Jahati Ajahati Lakshana. That means what? Dropping is also there. Non-dropping is also there of the primary meaning. Again, confused statement. That means what? Part of the primary meaning is dropped and part of the primary meaning is retained, not dropped. From the standpoint of that part which is dropped, it will be Jahati Lakshana. From the standpoint of that part that is not dropped, it will mean Ajahati Lakshana. Now, what is the example? Our favorite example of Swami Paramarthananda. Water is ocean. When we say, make a statement, water is ocean, which Lakshana we use? We have to use the third one. The name and form part of the wave and ocean you drop. That alone is dropped. But another part is retained. Because the word wave includes name, form also, and water part also. The word wave means water with a name and form. So the name and form part you drop, Jahati Lakshana. Water part you don't drop, Ajahati Lakshana. Similarly for ocean, ocean also is a mixture of name, form and water. In that also, name and form you drop, Jahati Lakshana. Water part you retain, Ajahati Lakshana. Therefore, wave is ocean. That sentence will make sense by if we apply Jahati Ajahati Lakshana. I hope you're all understanding following, because it's all highly technical, but not very easy to comprehend at the first instance. You have to think about this and then try to understand how this Jahati Lakshana, Ajahati Lakshana, and the Jahati Ajahati Lakshana operates. But of course, Shankaracharya, as I said, is going to give another example. And we need to understand that example also. But to understand Acharya's example, which is a classic example given in the Shastra, let us look at a similar example, a simple example, so that our understanding becomes very clear. So one example for Jahati Ajahati Lakshana we have seen, wave and ocean. Shankaracharya in the next sloka is giving a classic Shastric example, Soyam Devadatta. So as I said, let us understand Shankaracharya's example with another example. I hope I've already warned you right in the beginning. 2-3 classes are going to be very, very heavy stuff. Shankaracharya in Vivekachudamani has actually, I would probably say, done full justice to Vedanta. Even though we are only considering 108 slokas out of 555. And that is why sometimes, when we are just considering 108 slokas only, many things that Shankaracharya would have elaborated in his original text, we have to condense it, and that could make some of these concepts a little bit difficult to understand. So let us just get introduced to the example, which I will deal with in the next class because time is almost up. Now imagine I am sitting with a person called Rama. I'm conversing with him, talking to him. This Rama was a college mate of mine some 50 years ago. We were in the same class, often used to sit next to each other in the classroom. And we were also living in the same hostel block, which was called Godavari. Hostel was called Godavari Hostel. But that college where we studied had got different hostel blocks, all named after famous rivers, Narmada, Ganga, Godavari, etc. Sindhu, Kaveri, all that. And this Rama and I were very thick friends. And I have met him after a very long time. And now we are catching up. 50 years, what happened in our life? After college, he went somewhere, I went somewhere else. But we have, our destiny has brought us together now. So we were talking to each other. And while this conversation is going on, one sannyasi in saffron robes, who is known to me, enters the scene. Of course, obviously, both of us greet him. And I ask my friend Rama, do you recognize this person who has just come? My friend Rama looks at him head to toe several times, trying to recollect, but he is not able to recollect who this person is. But from my question, do you recognize this person who has come? Rama has an inkling that I know that Rama knows this person. So he actually tries to know his best to recollect where I have seen this sannyasi. I have never met any sannyasi in my life. And then I try to explain to Rama. That explanation we will see in the next class. Okay. 7 o'clock, I'll stop here. Om Purnamada Purnamidham Purna Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasichyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Sri Harihi Om. Dhanyavada. Thank you very much.
Very much.
Thank you, Guruji. Thank you, Guruji.
Dhanyavada,
Guruji.
I hope everybody who was there in the class in the beginning is there at the end also. Yes. Knocked out.
Good one.
Because as
Thank you very much.
Acharya, whenever we come to these difficult topics, there is always a dropout.
Thank you very much, Guruji. Namaskaram.
Hari Om. Namaskar. Namaskar. Namaskar.
ధన్యవాదాలు గురుజీ.
Namaste.
Thank you, Guruji.
Hari ji.
Namaskaram.
Namaskar. Hari ji's hand is up.
Guruji, I have two words.
Ah,
One is Ishvara, the other is Asura.
Asura.
Can you Ishvara with respect to Isha? Can you explain how should I understand that word, those words, Ishvara and Asura, with Isha when we? No,
See-
I am asking you this doubt from Ishavasya Upanishad. When
Yeah, see, Isha means a
Yeah.
certain power. Okay.
yeah.
The same word we use for Bhagavan also. Bhaga asya asti Bhagavan. These are all
Once again, repeat. I couldn't hear it. Bhaga.
Bhaga asya asti iti Bhagavan. So it is a pratyaya. It is called Vatu pratyaya, which is added to the word Bhaga, it becomes Bhagavan. So you must understanding all this. Good degree of Sanskrit knowledge is required. Otherwise, whatever I explain will just be, it will be there, but you will not be able to understand why. Because this is all Sanskrit compound words, not compound words. It's actually Bhaga plus Vatu Pratyaya is Bhagavan. Similarly, Isha plus Varach Pratyaya is there. So, Isha plus Varach is Ishvara. That is how the word Ishvara is formed. That is why the word Bhagavan is, that is how the word Bhagavan is
And
formed.
what does it mean? Isha plus
Isha means
Vara.
certain power with superior powers.
Okay.
Again, Varach Pratyaya means the one who possesses the superior powers.
Okay.
So, Ishvara is the one who has got superior powers.
Okay.
Then Asura means Devata.
Yeah.
The word Sura in Sanskrit language means a Devata. Asura means the one who is not a Devata. That way, we are all Asuras only.
Yeah, what do you mean by when you say Sura? No, that is exactly. You are now taking me along with you.
Yeah,
Sura means Devata. Asura is non-Devata.
non-Devata.
So what do you mean by Devata?
What do you mean by Devata is the cosmic power. The different powers are all called Devatas.
Okay.
Varuna Devata, Agni Devata, Vayu Devata, like that, you know. So many Devatas are there. 33 crore Devatas or something like that are there. If you analyze the entire cosmos and understand everything in the cosmos, each individual power, there
Yeah.
is Devata. If you look at our own self, each power that we have got, if you tabulate them, you will not be able to complete the tabulation. Because we ourselves do not know what all powers that we have got. Very simply said, hearing power is there, seeing power is there, breathing power is there, talking power is there, tasting power is there. Like that, we can, few ones we can say, walking power. Everything is a separate devata. Every power is a separate devata. And another word for devata in the Shastric language is sura. So sura means devata, asura means non-devatas. Other than devata, everybody is an asura. So that is how very simply we can understand. Of course, Daivi Sampat and Asuri Sampat, Krishna talks about in Bhagavad Gita, later chapter. So when we come to that, I will explain more about all these things. But just to understand what is Ishvara, what is Asura and all that, that is the simple, straightforward Vachyartha of these words.
Guruji, this Asura, does it have a meaning like anybody who is extroverted, that who is always looking, not inside, but always looking out?
No.
Extroverted.
Sura does not have that word. Sura is another word.
No, Asura.
Asura.
Sura is introverted. And Asura is extrovert, that he is
Well,
always.
the only thing I will say, I mean, if at all you want to look at it that way.
No, I don't want. I'm just, I heard it, so I just wanted to.
No. That's what some people may say it that way because now when you come to the interpretation of these words, it can be interpreted so many ways. I said Devata means certain powers, right? A person who has got a certain specific power is a Devata, correct?
Yeah.
An entity, I won't care a person, an entity which has got a specific power is a Devata. Now, that Devata can have other qualities also. What are the other qualities? All Devatas will be Sattva Guna Pradhana. Right? All Devatas will have certain qualities, which is what we revere, we respect, and that is why they set example. For example, if you take Rama as a character, if you consider Rama as a Devata, then what are the characteristics of Rama? All Devatas characteristics. Very composed, intelligent, so all that. So many things you can attribute those things. And those who do not have all those characteristics are all what? Asura. So in that, in the first one, in the Devata, inward lookingness is one of the characteristics. Atma Darshanam is one of the characteristics because if you look at the sadhana chatushtaya sampatti, viveka, vairagyam, etc., all that lead to what? They all lead to inwardness, that is looking at our inner self. Not outwardness, not extrovertedness. So if you look at it that way, from that perspective, you can say Asura means extroverted. You can say that. So there are people different way they can explain. Every Acharya will have his
No,
own
no,
way
no,
of
no, no.
explaining. So
Yeah.
that is the, it can be interpreted that way also.
Okay.
Asura means extroverted. Sura means not introverted, inward looking.
Yeah, inward. Yeah, yeah.
Inward looking, not introvert. Introverted has got a different connotation, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah, yeah. I understood. I understood.
So it is inward looking. Focusing more on the inner content, the Atma, rather than the external things. That is how we can understand also. Yeah.
I have one more. This is not a technical, but so Guruji, you were telling that after this book, Vivekachudamani, you are going to take one Upanishad. Have you decided which Upanishad?
First, let this
Because
finish.
I have to buy the book. If it, I should mentally be prepared.
Most probably, I don't know, because
Ah,
if it is Kathopanishad, it will be easy for me.
okay.
Because I have already done Kathopanishad with certain students. I have already one round of Kathopanishad I have done. My preparation is very much there.
Yeah, okay.
If I have to do some new Upanishad, then I will have to do a lot of reading, preparation and all. So I have not yet decided, because I'm more focusing on finishing this, but sometimes this is just going on and on and on.
Yeah,
Of course, this is not that we are wasting our time or anything. But see, we have reached the 78 sloka, another 30 slokas we have to go.
okay.
So that could be, maybe another 4-5 months it may take.
Okay, okay.
If not 30, maybe 20-25 classes more. So at
Yeah.
least 25 means 4 months more. So in the meantime, I will probably decide either I am going to take Kathopanishad, because Kathopanishad and all is very simple, rather easy.
Yeah,
So that many times initially, like Kathopanishad, Taittiriya Upanishad, not even Taittiriya, even Mundaka Upanishad, not taught in the initial stages, rather. Now,
mm,
once you have gone through that, then only you go to the little more difficult Upanishads, like your Mandukya, etc. Later stage only we come to that, because lot more technical analysis is all involved in that.
yeah,
Like that we today saw Jahati, Ajahati, Lakshana and all that, A highly technical analysis. All this is required in order to understand all these Mahavakyams.
okay.
So let me see. It would be a choice between Kathopanishad and Mundaka Upanishad. This much I can tell you. I am not yet decided. I am just doing eeny, meeny, meeny. What is that? One of the two fingers touch one kind of thing.
Which book we should buy, regardless of whatever.
See, so far as Upanishad is concerned, you can buy, if you want, only the text. This Gita Press texts are there.
That is there. No, then it is.
Shankara Bhashyam. Correct.
Ah,
Otherwise, the Swami Paramatananda's Kathopanishad book is there. Swami Dayanand Saraswati's Kathopanishad book is there. There are, books by these people. But they have not
okay.
written it. Swami Dayanand Saraswati has written, Puja Swamiji has himself written, but Swami Paramatananda's talks have been transcribed by somebody, and then published as a book.
That I have. That I have.
So that is enough. I mean, ultimately, mostly I'll be following what teachings of Swami Paramathananda only.
Yeah, okay.
So that will be useful for you. You can follow that.
Okay.
That is, I think, has got the Anvaya, everything is there in that, if I'm not
Yeah,
wrong.
yeah, okay.
Everything is there. So that is enough. That is enough.
Okay.
That you can buy. Okay.
Okay. Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Thank
Hari
you.
Om. Hari Om.
Thank you very much. Any other question or comment? Otherwise, we can close the session. I think no more hands are going up, so I will close the session. Thank you very much. Hari Om, all of you.
Hari Om.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you.
Hari Om.
Hari Om Guruji.